Hey everybody, what's up? It's been forever since I've been on live, but I'm here. So what's up? Give me just a second to make sure the audio's good and come on into the room, hop in the comments, say hello, let me know you're here. I really want to go over what I think is a big deal with this Nolan Wells case because okay, perfect. So we're here, we're live. Um, I really wanted to talk about Nolan Wells because this case has been like everywhere online. And if you don't know who Nolan Wells is, let me um, pull up Nolan Wells. He is a young man that was celebrating Independence Day, July 4th, and he unfortunately lost his life after partying with some friends. Um, the friends state the friends state that Nolan Wells was okay. So the friends states that Nolan Wells was um, left on an island. So in Mississippi, there is a separate party island, and it's called Horn Island. They take a boat, it's about 20 miles off of the coastline of Mississippi. So, Horn Island um, is where a lot of boaters or partiers go. It's like if you go to Lake Tahoe. So, you know, it's kind of for the locals. It's a party destination, very small island. They say it's 4 miles long by 1 mile across. And it is near Jackson, Mississippi. Nolan Wells is a 18-year-old boy who went on the island with a group of friends. The story is polarizing because Nolan Wells was a young Black boy who went on the island with his um, group of all Caucasian friends. So he unfortunately came up missing. So that evening, Nolan Wells is suspected of being missing. The next morning, after an all points bulletin, a search party was formed to find Nolan. He was no longer with us and discovered on Horn Island. But Horn Island being so small, it's almost impossible that someone missed him or um, he wasn't able to catch a ride back with the last few people. And interestingly enough, there are a few families with boats who stayed on the island overnight. So he never approached these families that stayed. So there's a lot of discrepancy in the three friends' story. And these are the boys that left Nolan. Mhm. They say Nolan did not come back to land, but his parents verified that Nolan's phone was pinging on land, then back out towards Horn Island, then back. It's been a mystery. and a lot of suspicion around what happened. Is it race related? Was he unalived by the friends? Was there a fight? There's so much information coming out, and I want to follow the case. I want to go over it with you now that I'm back on YouTube. But before we do that, before we do that, I think a deeper dive needs to be done into why young Black men are so obsessed with being accepted by and being adopted into white culture. And I believe that it's different for Black girls. Now, I know there's an online war between men and women, Black men and Black women, especially, but no matter how much conversations you have about Black women, Black men have become, not even have become, for generations, have been so obsessed with whiteness that I believe it has put them in such danger that you get stories like Nolan Wells. And that's not to say Nolan Wells didn't have Black friends. There are a lot of Black friend pictures that he has on his social media. Other creators have shared, his parents have shared. But if you go back over time, I think that there is a huge gap in what Black women are encouraged by and what Black men are encouraged and influenced by. If you go on a social media platform, and I really want to stick to social media and parental upbringing, if you go on a social media platform, you're going to see for Black women, there is a lot of camaraderie. Now, I'm not saying it's all positive because for no demographic, for no group is every bit of social media positive. But for Black women in particular, when you go on social media platforms, you see a lot of beautiful, like, girl, I love your hair. Okay, queen, sis, that's tea. Your braids, I love your braids. I love this, I love that, I love this, I love that. You get a lot of body positivity. You get a lot of acceptance into um, Black women's faces, regardless of how you look, regardless of how you present, being that Black female nerd, from a blurred Black nerd to a baddie. Everybody's accepted, everybody's supported. It is very rare that you find a lot of Black women online saying, I'm not accepted in by Black women. I think I've seen it twice in my 42 years, 43 years. I've seen it twice where Black women say, I don't have anybody that likes me, but usually, they move to a different city or they're maybe have some socially awkwardness. But in Black female spaces, acceptance and community is the norm. Acceptance and community is the norm. And for me, being an outsider looking in, because I don't know 100%, when I see Black male spaces, I don't see the positivity in Blackness when there are when there's a different when there's a different prototype, right? So Black men get to be masculine and that's it. Like, you don't get to exist anywhere else on that spectrum. You get to be hyper into women and you get to be masculine. And there isn't a lot of room for wiggle there. And then when you see people that you would think that I want to look up to, most of those people have non-black partners. So if you think I'm a young black boy, I grow up and I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to be like Kobe Bryant. I want to be like whoever it is now. If you're a young black boy, most of your influence is not full on blackness, black family, black friend groups, black even if especially if you're younger, say you're a younger black man and going through your college days, your later high school days, and you're dating, all of the social engineering that you see around that demographic of people is Latina, mixed, Caucasian. Like, you don't get a lot of positive push from your community into um, black exclusive spaces, right? A lot of the push is, and you're a young man, so unfortunately by design, it is a hyper-exual existence for black young men. Hyper-exual. Hyper. I'm not saying it doesn't exist for other communities. I'm talking about my community. So for younger black men, what you're going to get is a lot of hypersexual um, influence, and a lot of that is rap culture, hip hop culture, music videos, and what you see in music videos, and on the arms of rappers, and on the arms of ballers, and on the arms of your influenced is non-black women. Whether that's by design or not could be another video. But what is prevalent in our community is for black men to your status is going to be based upon, do you have this certain type of woman on your arm? But for black women, your social status is only based on community. Your social status for black women is community. And there is so much community amongst black women that you don't want to, it's not something you want to stray away from. But black men don't have community. They don't. They don't exist in circles that uplift, empower, and push and motivate. They exist in circles that are extremely, what's the word I can use? The 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 circles that black men exist in are typical for all males, right? It's very typical. It is who has, at that young age where Nolan Wells is, that age of 18, 19, college, high school freshman, I mean, high school senior and junior, and going into your first few years of college, you exist in a world of who has the baddest girlfriend, who has the access to, oops, sorry, I got a net in my house. Oop, I think I got him. Nope. Okay, I got him. That's annoying. But who has the baddest girlfriend? And if the baddest to our community as black people is non-black women, then you can see why young black men are pushed into white circles. If nobody is pushing for young black men to pursue black families, black women, black girls their age, women, young women their age, if nobody does that, that you look up to in your community, and everything you see from people that are pushed as your influence, Even for young Black women versus young Black men, young Black women are pushed. I'm not saying 100%, but our influences are going to be Beyonce, Oprah, Michelle Obama, Taraji. I'm just thinking about the most influential Black women that you point your girls in that direction. You point your girls in that direction if you're a Black woman with a daughter or a Black family with a daughter. Those are the women that Black women look up to and Black girls aspire to. For Black men, it's going to be athletes, rappers. It's not Obama. And I'm speaking as somebody who knows, right? It's not Obama. It is going to be Kobe Bryant. It is going to be um, Terrell Owens, I believe, T.O. Yeah, it's going to be a footballer. It's not going to be Tyler Perry. Nobody is pushing their son to be like Tyler Perry because let's be honest, the Black community is extremely homophobic. So that hyper masculinity also ties into why your Black sons can't be influenced to be a successful Black man like a Tyler Perry, or why a successful Black man like a uh, what is this guy's name? Um, Obama. I'm sorry. Why did I say this guy's? Like an Obama. Because number one, Obama isn't hyper masculine. Tyler Perry isn't hyper masculine. So there are reasons why you can't push your sons to be anything like that because we still, as a community, have that mentality that gay is so wrong. In our community, being gay or non masculine is so abhorrent to what you want your sons to be. So you have to push them to be like a hyper masculine rapper, a hyper masculine athlete. And when you look at those people and those entertainment genres are engineered to be. Let me move this down a little bit. Sorry, y'all. Hopefully I get it right. Oop, 1 second. There we go. Okay, so basically, I need to leave well enough to know. But those genres, entertainment genres like basketball, the athletes that you see, they have non Black girlfriends. The rappers that you watch their music videos, they have non Black actresses and video um, models in the video. There is so much social engineering for young Black men because what happens is you understand that because of the lack of community. Give me 1 second. Let me fix my camera. I'm going to bring Nolan back on the screen. But what I want you to understand is that because this is all by design, this is all by design because what happens is if you have these, if the young Black men, thank you for your patience, if you have young Black men who are socially engineered to not have community and then to be influenced by hypermasculine genres of entertainment like sports and and rap, hip hop, then they also want to emulate that as success because what else could success be? Black women have community, so are influenced, less easily influenced when they become successful, right? So when Black women become successful, they have a loyalty because of that community. And a lot of people say it's wrong because Black men don't have the um, love that they should for Black women, that Black women should move to different communities. But that could be another video itself as well. But currently, Black women have such a strong community amongst each other that they can't be influenced to pour their wealth when it's amassed into um, white partners, right? So when you meet a OJ Simpson, when you have a OJ Simpson, when you have a Kobe Bryant, when you have a Tiger Woods, you understand how easy it is to influence these people to white is right. Is everybody, am I making sense? So it's not just that, that Black women have the community. That community is so important because when Black women build businesses, amass wealth, become successful entrepreneurs, or climb the corporate ladder, their money, because they're not influenced by women who I don't even know if we have, of course, we have women who are not influential or should not be influential who are, such as like a baddies, right? So there's like a baddies, there's like a um but even when you think about Black women who you think are like bad influence, who would be the worst influence among of Black women? For me, you would say maybe a and by influence, I mean they also have the reach, right? So these women have reach and power, money, etc. What you'll see is that they're still not the worst of the worst, right? Because what they do, maybe they have bad rap lyrics, right? Maybe they have bad rap lyrics, but you'll see that they've amassed business. They use their influence to turn it into marketing, into merchandising, into other brand deal. Like there is something that's happening there. But when you have um but those aren't the like huge influential women that you push your Black daughters to be like. You push your Black daughters to be like Oprah, to be like Beyonce, to be like Taraji, to be like Lupita. Those are the Michelle Obama. Those are the influences for Black women. They're still Black. Their partners are Black. But for Black men, because they don't have community, which they may be craving. If you think about Black men who, and I'm talking American Black men who don't have community, it starts young because you'll see that so many of these Black men, and not Nolan, because Nolan's father was in the home, but you'll see so many young Black American men, the fathers are gone. They are raised around communities of women, grandmother, mom, auntie, mom's friends are coming in and out. You don't, unless mom has a ton of brothers or their grandmother has a ton of sons and they got a bunch of uncles, you're not seeing Black men in community from their youth. They don't see that. That's not the norm because unfortunately in our community, too many young Black American men are raised without their fathers. So if you sit back and think about it, without the fathers in the home, without the fathers taking them to, fishing or going to the hair barber salon or doing sporting activities, like um, not for lack of a better term, not for profit, but for um, character development, right? If you have so many young Black men who aren't doing this with community, they are usually craving it because they're growing up in homes where they're seeing that Black women do have it. So if you have a young Black boy who is raised up by his mom and his mom's community of other women, then you also have young Black men who want that. They're craving that. So it makes me wonder. No, it doesn't make me wonder. It's very clear. It's very clear. If everything I look up to, everything I want is to be like somebody else, and this somebody else has a non-Black partner and is building a non-Black family and spreading his wealth in non-Black communities, and I don't have anybody to guide me because nobody was in community with me as I was growing up, then you can understand why that man would probably be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm out of here." But we're now at a situation, and not even now, we're at a continuous situation of those men being in danger and losing their lives. There were a few men that came up just recently for um, another man. I'm going to tell you his name and maybe we'll come back and talk. Gerard J. Jackson, 28 years old from Illinois. He went to the Electric Forest Music Festival in Michigan with his white friends. He was this was last month, found hanging from a tree in Michigan. They called it self inflicted. They called it self inflicted. They called it self inflicted. There was another man just Daniel Irving in Texas. Similar situation as Nolan Wells. So if you think about Gerard Jackson, went with his Caucasian friends and then was reported missing and then found hanging from a tree. And then you look at Daniel Irving, went to go swimming with his two white friends and found drowned in a um, lake in Texas. Those two friends actually removed his shoes and phone, or clothing and phone. And so I don't know how much backpedaling the Black community can do to enforce a little bit more, as Deontay Kyle has said before. Deontay Kyle mentioned the low racial self esteem. And that's 100% true. You cannot deny that there's low racial self esteem amongst young Black men. And I want to attribute that to the fact that they did not have community growing up. They didn't have it. There should have been more, even now, Black men aren't supported in the way that Black women are. If you look at Love Island, Anaya, um, Trinity, they have huge support systems because Black women have community. regardless of how dysfunctional people try to make it seem, it's not. It seems to be working. It seems to be working. It seems to be working because of the way that we see these young Black men are so desperate to not be, I don't want to say it, but it is dangerous. It is dangerous for them. It is getting scary for them. There's been more hangings in the last year than I remember hearing about in the last 10. And I'm not saying they weren't happening in the last 10 years, but I think the frequency has scaled up quite a bit. It's scaled up quite a bit through the Carolinas, in the South, and now this one in Michigan. I think there were two in Illinois in the last year or two. It's been insane. But going back to community, Black women, if you just go into a Black woman's comment section, love your dress, love your hair, hair is tea, body tea, do the body come with it? Unfortunately for Black men, because they're raised in such, pardon me, in such hyper masculine environments, they don't get that same camaraderie, that same love and encouragement. It just doesn't happen. And so when they grow up and they see the Black women that raised them have community around them, they didn't get it. That can create a lot of disdain, jealousy. That can create a lot of jealousy and envy because they weren't able to get the same amount of love and encouragement from men who look like them. Whereas all Black women, you can be light, you can be dark, tall, short, thick, fat, slim, in between, dress well, from, the cosplay queens to the fashion girls. Black women will build each other up. Black women will build each other up. Black men don't have that because they cannot, because of the way that Black American people are so, or Black people across the diaspora, because Black people are so conservative and so homophobic. Black men cannot express that same kind of love and support for each other. And that just is what it is. I mean, you know, I just don't know. I wish I knew more to say to help, but it is very unfortunate that we're seeing it is very unfortunate that we're now seeing what we're seeing for these young people to encounter such violence from people who they think are friends. In addition, in addition, and I want to close with this because I think this is a great topic. I could probably talk about this all day. But the next time I come on, I want it to be a bit more structured. In addition to the fact that Black men are not raised to encourage and support each other because of um, the homophobia in the community, the hypermasculinity in the community that is pushed onto young Black boys. Um, because they don't have that. I lost my point. Sorry. Oh my God, I lost my point. It was so good too. It was so good. Um, Let me think if I'm backtrack because of the hyper masculinity, because of the conservative. I can't even think what that point was, but it was good. I was excited to share it with you, and now I guess I'll have to bring it back. Um, but yeah, I think it's very important that we all start to realize the damage that has been done to young Black boys by not having that community. They're not able to show each other love. They're not able to encourage each other. They're able to, um, it's just, I don't even know who young black men look up to. Who would they look up to? Because of the hypermasculinity in the community, even the success of a Tyler Perry is not seen as success because he could be gay or bi. The success of a Barack Obama is not, pushed onto young black men because he's not hypermasculine. So they have to look up to football players, basketball players, rappers. There is nothing like a businessman that is pushed onto a young black man. But I think that's all men, all men. But the hypermasculinity in this community has black men looking up to men who don't encourage blackness, as in family unit, as in spouse and partner, as in where to spend your money. And it pushes them into wanting to be in white spaces and around white um, women or non Black women. And it's really unfortunate. I couldn't pull back and get my point, but I am very happy that I was able to hop on and talk to you guys about this. This has been so fun. So I'm very excited to catch up with you again. Um, I'll have my camera right next time because I like, my outfit to be out a little bit. I don't know why my cord is glitching, but okay. So yeah, so I'm very excited that we were able to chat about um, the the problems that I have in seeing so many young black men be pushed away from our community because they didn't have community. And that should be something addressed by black men. I can't be the one to address it, but it is something that is very, very, very real. And we are unfortunately seeing the effects. Yeah, so we are unfortunately seeing the effects of what happens when these men are not able to find community within their community. And I believe that's all. So I will be back tomorrow because I want to talk more about my um, thoughts on Nolan Wells in this case and um, Jay Jackson in Michigan and Daniel Irving in Texas. I want to talk about the failures of and lack of community and how it's put our boys in danger. The failure of community in our community has put black men in a lot of danger. And it's scary. It really is scary to think that what's happening now that we're seeing with this Nolan Wells, these lynchings, these um, accidental drownings, these no foul play suspected cases are really the result of black men not having community. And I feel bad. I really feel bad for them. So thank you all for watching. I'm so excited. If you didn't see the entire live, please go back to the beginning. It feels like rambling, but it's a conversation that I really wanted to get off my chest tonight. I haven't been on YouTube in quite some time, but I'm very happy I was able to share this bit with you guys because I really need to talk about why so many Black men are running away from Blackness. And I think we've touched on something, and I feel like this could be a series, and I would love to have you guys chime in. So please be sure to leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching. My name is LA. I'll catch you on the other side. Bye, babes.